Right, so three former SSL directors slapped with multiple charges. Alright, so all three have been charged with offences including fraudulently inducing person to invest money, a breach of Section 28 of the Licensing Act, failure to register a company carrying on business in Jamaica, Companies Act Section 363, carrying on a securities business without dealer license, Securities Act Section 7, failure to apply to commission to register for securities issues, Securities Act Section 26, and breach of Section 22A of the Banking Service Act. Alright, so back with another installment. So you're telling me that this major company in Jamaica with over 200 investors didn't have most of these licenses? You're telling me that they didn't have a business, they basically them business never registered in Jamaica. You're telling me that carrying on securities business without dealer's license, failure to apply to commission to be registered for securities issued. So you're telling me a major company like this that have over more than 200 investors, that has over more than billions stolen, wasn't a registered company? Come on, bro. Come on. This is probably one of the biggest fraud ever taking place in Jamaica. Yeah, man, this is bigger than the scammers. You get me, I say?
It's tough. Tough to know say it happen. And then this a go on this long. And this kind of make me look on who I am and what me the things say which part me did there. On the food chain in Jamaica. Like, if this happened to me and it's going to have it 2 years and I can't say back a dime.
Shit.
Yeah. And I said, Jaja, it's a man say you really evaluate like, yo. Cause me must have old people say, yo, you still at Jamaica? Why you still at there? I say, nah man, I love my country. My country love me and the people them and government, everybody. You feel like on the same page, you see me? So when that happened, it lit me for 6. Me never forget.
No, from me a little boy, me always hear my mother say, rich man charge for fraud and poor people charge for thief. No, this man run the largest Ponzi scheme ever in a Jamaican history, where he scammed Jamaicans out of billions of dollars, and he has not spent a night in police custody. No, me I watch this clearly, you know, because me just believe, say, there's going to be some high-ranking police officer will mess up the investigation, which is going to create some form of loophole for making escape. Because when him get him high power attorney upon the case, in good as all turn around and sue all the government. Because guess what? They cannot hold him for more than 36 hours without detaining him. They cannot detain him for more than 36 hours without charge him. Because you notice this man I get red carpet treatment. Because you notice them whisk him away in our unmarked police vehicle. Wherein if I want common Jamaican, this you'll have one police car come where them surrounding place with you with police and all kind of something and excitement and this and that. But you know what they have to do for him think quietly, right? And decently, because he is a big shot, he is not an ordinary Jamaican. This is one of the biggest thief ever in Jamaican history. And he live comfortable at home. Right now, you know. If him get locked up right now, you know what go happen? I'm going to one place where not even I want to sell him, I go put him like they go put him in one place like a hotel in inner, where in up on his laptop and he have on his phone and everything. Live nice and decent, get all pizza deliver. I mean, no matter lobster and get up, may I tell you? Because they can't put their money in a known place because you go yes and you have some kind of illness where if you see doctor within a certain time and go dead. You remember with the Tankwell boss?
This is bigger than the scammers in Namibia, Kingston and every other parish, because these persons, these two white men or these three former SSL directors are some of the biggest scammers in Jamaica. And it's so ironic because when this news just came public and one person took the fall, saying that she was the one that took the money and so forth. Everybody was like, really? It's a big company. How does one person thief more than $2 billion? You get me? I say, and now everything finally come to the light. Everything is basically finally being come to the light, and we're gonna jump into the story. But before we jump into the story, give this video a thumbs up and also comment your feedback in the comment section. Alright, so let's jump into the story, because this story is unbelievable. Yeah man, this story is really unbelievable. You get me? Also, because they're telling me a big company like SSL is not registered, have more than 200 clients, have big investors there, Usain Bolt, and they are not a registered company. You know, and the funny thing about this is, it take this scenario for them to realize that this company is not a registered company, you know, and the fact that they have broken so many laws. And it take this scenario for people to really see what's going on. But anyways, let's jump into the story. So 3 individuals have been taken into custody following a coordinated early morning operation by multiple law enforcement agencies as the probe intensifies into the multi-million-dollar fraud at Stocks and Securities Limited. The operation carried out approximately 4:30 a.m. involving officers from financial investigators from the Financial Unit, the Special Operation Unit of the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Criminal Investigation Branch, and the St. James Police Division. They were supported by the Major Organization Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency. So according to a release, 4 search warrants were executed at one location in the Kent District, St. James, and 3 addressed in the St. Andrew operation target former directors of the SSL. 2 of the individuals taken into custody have been identified as former SSL directors Hughes Crosscarry and Sarah Meany. Crosscarry was found at Wickham Avenue Street in St. Andrew, where investigators seized electronic device and several documents. He was detained on reasonable suspicion of breaches of the Bank of Jamaica Act, Securities Act, Larceny Act, and Banking Service Act. Searches were also conducted on the Kempshot residence of the Meansy, where investigators discovered SSL-related documents and multiple electronic devices. Meany was taken into custody on reasonable suspicion of similar breaches of financial legislation linked in her involvement at the SSL. A third individual, Diamond Meany, who was arrested during the operation in relation to a breach of the Firearms Act. Although a licensed firearm holder, he was reportedly found with ammunition in excess of the legal permit amount. So meanwhile, former SSL Delta Partners CEO Zachary Harding reported to the FID and CTOC and is being questioned in the presence of his attorney. Investigators say his questioning relates to reasonable suspicion of breaches of the Bank of Jamaica Act, Securities Act, Banking Service Act, and Companies Act. Authorities said all matters arising are being assessed and the evidence collected is undergoing forensic examination, and further updates will be provided as the investigation continues. So that was basically what the Gleaner / Observer was saying about the case.